I've been listening to some of the most promising politicians in the Conservative Party recently. People like Mel Stride and whatever. Admirable, quick, facile public speaker, a great gift for getting to the point of complex information and whatever. But the whole thing is just a retail offer. It's a series of completely isolated reactions to policy. There's no broader picture. There's no foundation. And until we get that, we are at the risk, of course, of a government that will be wholly destructive. I mean, the thing that the words that come more and more to my thoughts are, we're experiencing the astonishing transformation of Britain into Argentina. And Peron, I mean, you grin. But remember, Argentina at the beginning of the 20th century was seen as rivaling America
Yes.
in terms of its prosperity. And
Well,
what
the
it
phrase
does,
"as rich as an Argentine" was a sort of a shorthand.
absolutely,
Mm.
absolutely. And the splendors, the Neo-Parisian architecture of Buenos Aires, and the enormous wealth that was brought to it by refrigeration, so you could actually bring the meat and so on. It's unbelievable prosperity. And yet, at exactly the same time as the Attlee government, you adopt Peronista. Now, of course, there is a very great gap between Peron and Attlee. Attlee is the absolute acme of boredom. And as we all know, Peron and Evita are the acme of glamour. So at least the Argentinians had some fun with their politics, as opposed to the awful grimness of the either an Attlee or a Starmerite Labour Party. But they're based on the same myth. And we've seen how low Argentina had to sink before you actually had somebody like the current president, like Milei, who is elected, tells the truth, does things that nobody thought he would do, actually does something. And what does he take? Again, I need my age. What is the thing that he slashes most in Argentina? Pensions.
Mm.
This vast debt, this vast burden that the welfare state places on the economy. And again, in this desire not to be the nasty part of the immense folly of Theresa May in that statement, the first thing that needs to be got home to everybody is that a welfare state means people on average salaries have to pay a large chunk of those salaries into the state. May I question you, when is the first time that somebody on an average income pays income tax?
Oh, income taxes, wasn't that to pay for the Napoleonic Wars?
I asked the question, a person on an average income.
Oh, I don't know in that case, no.
1945. You even got through the Second World War without it. And you can see the extraordinary rise of income tax the moment you have the welfare state. And there is this myth of the left that, oh, you can tax the rich. Ordinary working people will not be touched. This is absolutely untrue. If you look at our European neighbors, what is striking is how much more people on ordinary incomes are taxed. Here, people on ordinary incomes are relatively lightly taxed. Most net households are actually net recipients from the state. And it's a very, very different pattern. We have again, all this stuff about shouldn't the rich pay their share. We've got an unusually progressive tax system. The richest 1%, the richest 10% pay this huge proportion of income
I
tax.
think it's about a third, isn't it? Over a third. I
It
mean,
is
it's staggering amounts of money.
staggering, and again introduced under the Conservatives. And this is why, of course, one is beginning to see the flight of wealth and why people are taking the choice. Why should we work more if the state, because if you put it all together, you're looking at something 60 odd percent plus when you feed in national insurance. I mean, it's an absurd idea. I mean, that business of the tax year, you work until August before
Yes.
you actually from January to August before you actually keep what you earn.
Yes. I'm still looking forward to that day where I'll actually be guilt-free and I can go out and start paying, I don't know, rent or my mortgage, I suppose. It's interesting, isn't it, that you were able to pinpoint the example of Argentina for sort of economic mismanagement, but also pointing out that societies that are based on lies inevitably end up collapsing in under the weight of the lies. Who does that remind us of? The Soviet Union. We
Yes,
all know
which
what
is
happened.
another comparison. And I
And
think
then? there's one more, which is, of course, you mentioned multiculturalism. We probably don't have time to get into it very much, but what is perhaps the best example of that collapse? If not Yugoslavia, then Lebanon, a very prosperous country that was completely undone by multiculturalism.